I never imagined that checking my wife's forgotten phone would lead me to a voicemail that shattered everything I believed about our life together. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This nightmare began 3 months ago when my wife started humming songs she'd never listened to before. My name is Daniel Archer. I'm 41 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm a high school history teacher at Roosevelt High, the kind of job where you grade papers until midnight and still feel like you're not doing enough. I've been married to Lisa for 8 years. We met in 2015 at a mutual friend's game night. She crushed me at Settlers of Cayton, then bought me a consolation beer. She was a paralegal at a downtown firm, sharp as a blade, quick with a comeback, and somehow interested in a teacher who made jokes about the Treaty of Westphalia. We dated for 2 years before I proposed at the same friend's house, during another game night, with the ring hidden inside a Cayton settlement piece. She laughed so hard she cried, then said yes. We got married in 2018 at a small ceremony on Bainbridge Island. Everyone said we were perfectly matched. For years, we were. But somewhere around year 5, the cracks started showing. She took on bigger cases at work. I started coaching the debate team, which meant evenings and weekends disappeared. We stopped cooking dinner together. We stopped talking about anything deeper than grocery lists and utility bills. I told myself this was just what marriage became after the honeymoon phase ended. Adults with careers and responsibilities. I was still there, still committed, still showing up. I just didn't notice she'd started looking elsewhere. The first real sign came in late November. Lisa started changing her morning routine. For 8 years, she'd been a coffee and toast person, out the door by 7:45 in yoga pants and minimal makeup. Efficient, practical, Lisa. Then suddenly, she was waking up at 6:30, spending an hour in the bathroom, emerging in carefully selected outfits with makeup that looked professionally applied. She'd always been attractive, but now she looked like she was dressing for someone. When I asked about it, she shrugged and said the firm had new clients coming in for consultations, and she wanted to look more polished. It made sense. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. The second sign was her phone. Lisa had never been precious about her phone. It would sit on the kitchen counter while she cooked, on the coffee table during movies, charging on her nightstand at night. I could pick it up to check the weather or skip a song without thinking twice. Then in early December, everything changed. The phone went everywhere with her. Bathroom, bedroom, even the 30 seconds it took to grab mail from the lobby. She set a password she'd never had before, claiming her firm's IT department required it for security after a data breach. Another reasonable explanation. Another thing I accepted without question. The third sign was her mood. Lisa had always been even-tempered, occasionally stressed about work but generally content. Starting in mid-December, she became unpredictable. Some days she'd come home glowing, humming songs I'd never heard her listen to, practically floating through the apartment. Other days she'd be distant and irritable, snapping at me for leaving a mug in the sink or asking how her day went. When I pressed her, she blamed a difficult case, a demanding partner at the firm, holiday stress. I backed off. I gave her space. I told myself I was being a supportive husband. The fourth sign was the lies. Small ones at first. She'd say she was working late, then I'd see her firm's office lights off when I drove past on my way home from debate practice. She'd claim she was meeting a friend for drinks, then that friend would text me asking if Lisa wanted to join us for dinner the following week, clearly unaware they'd supposedly just seen each other. The lies stacked up like kindling, waiting for a spark. That spark came on December 19th, a Friday evening that should have been unremarkable. Lisa had texted me around 4 that afternoon saying she had to work late, a last-minute filing deadline, don't wait up for dinner. I ordered Thai food, graded essays, and fell asleep on the couch watching a documentary about World War II. I woke up around 11:30 to the sound of the apartment door opening. Lisa came in looking flushed and slightly disheveled, hair messier than it should be after sitting at a desk, lipstick completely gone. She jumped when she saw me awake. "I thought you'd be asleep," she said. "Long day," I replied. "How was the filing?" "Brutal," she said quickly. "I'm exhausted. I'm going to shower and crash." She disappeared into the bedroom. I heard the shower start, and something in my gut twisted. I'd ignored signs for weeks, rationalized everything, played the trusting husband. But in that moment, sitting alone in the dark living room, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Her work bag was by the door. Her phone was inside. I'd never gone through Lisa's phone in 8 years of marriage. I'd never felt the need. But that night, I picked up her bag, pulled out her phone, and stared at the lock screen. I didn't know her password. I tried our anniversary. Wrong. Our wedding venue. Wrong. I tried her birthday, my birthday, random combinations. Nothing worked. Then I noticed the phone was on silent, but the screen showed 3 missed calls and 2 voicemails, all from a contact saved as just the letter M. No name. Just M. I couldn't open the messages, but voicemail was connected to the carrier, and I remembered Lisa had never changed her voicemail password from the default. I dialed into her voicemail from my phone using her number, entered the default code, and waited. The first voicemail was from earlier that evening, timestamped at 8:47. A man's voice, smooth and casual. "Hey, you left your earring in my car. I'll bring it tomorrow. Tonight was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you." My hands went cold. I stood there in the dark, phone pressed to my ear, listening to a stranger talk about my wife like she belonged to him. The second voicemail was from 10:53, right around the time Lisa walked through the door. Same voice. "I know you said we need to be careful, but I don't want to wait another week to see you. Call me when you can. I miss you already." I played both voicemails again. Then again. My mind tried to find an innocent explanation, some reasonable context where this made sense. There was none. This was clear. This was damning. This was my wife having an affair with someone whose voice I didn't recognize, someone who called her after she left his car, someone who missed her already. The shower shut off. I put her phone back in her bag exactly as I'd found it and sat back down on the couch. My heart was hammering, my mind racing through options. Confront her now. Demand answers. Scream, cry, throw something. But I didn't. I sat there in silence and waited for her to come out. She emerged 15 minutes later in pajamas, hair wet, face scrubbed clean. She looked at me and frowned. "You're still up?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "Couldn't sleep." "You okay?" "You look pale." "I'm fine," I lied. "Just tired." She kissed the top of my head, a gesture that felt like mockery now, and went to bed. I stayed on the couch until I heard her breathing even out into sleep. Then I got up, grabbed my laptop, and started looking for answers. I didn't know who M was, but I knew how to find out. Lisa's laptop was in the living room, logged into her email and social media. I opened her Facebook messages. Nothing suspicious. Instagram DMs. Nothing. Then I checked her email. I scrolled through work emails, spam, promotional junk, until I found an email thread from 3 months ago. A new attorney had joined her firm in September. His name was Marcus Delgado. The initial email was a firm-wide introduction. Enthusiastic, charming, practiced. I scrolled further and found calendar invitations. Coffee meetings. Lunch appointments. A surprising number of late-night case strategy sessions that apparently required just the two of them. I opened LinkedIn and searched his name. Marcus Delgado, 36, attorney specializing in corporate law, previously worked in San Francisco, recently relocated to Seattle. His profile picture showed a man with dark hair, a confident smile, and the kind of polished look that screams successful and knows it. I sat back and stared at the screen. Marcus. My wife was having an affair with a coworker, someone she saw every single day, someone who probably made her feel exciting and new and appreciated in ways I hadn't managed to in years. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to explode. Instead, I just felt hollow. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, running through every memory of the past 3 months and seeing it all differently now. The new clothes. The secret phone calls. The nights she claimed to be working late. Every moment recontextualized into a betrayal. By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I was going to gather everything I needed first. If this was going to end the way I suspected it would, I wanted documentation. I wanted proof. I wanted to make sure that when the truth came out, there would be no room for her to lie her way out of it. Saturday morning, Lisa woke up cheerful. She made coffee, asked if I wanted to go to the farmer's market, acted like everything was normal. I played along. We went to the market. We bought vegetables and overpriced sourdough. We came home and pretended we were still a functional couple. While she was in the shower that afternoon, I went through her phone again. I'd figured out her password by watching her type it the night before when she thought I was reading. It was simple. Marcus's birthday. I opened her messages. The thread with M went back 3 months, hundreds of messages. Good morning texts. Late night conversations. Explicit messages that made my stomach turn. Photos I didn't want to see but couldn't look away from. Plans to meet at his apartment. Complaints about me. How I was boring, distant, predictable. How Marcus made her feel alive again. I forwarded key messages to my email, deleted the sent items from her phone, and put everything back exactly as it was. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and tried not to scream. The breaking point came 2 weeks later, on January 2nd. Lisa told me she had a work retreat that weekend, a firm team-building event at a resort in the San Juan Islands. She'd be gone Friday through Sunday. I nodded and wished her a good trip. I didn't tell her I'd already called her firm's main office pretending to be a vendor and confirmed there was no retreat scheduled. She left Friday morning with an overnight bag, kissed me goodbye, and told me she'd miss me. I waited until her car was out of sight, then I opened her laptop and checked her email. There it was. A hotel reservation confirmation for a boutique inn on Orcas Island. 1 room. 2 guests. Reserved under Marcus Delgado's name. I stared at that email for a long time. Then I made my own reservation. Same island. Different hotel. I wasn't going to confront them there. I wasn't going to make a scene. I just needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to know for certain that this was real. I drove to the ferry terminal Friday afternoon, took the last boat to Orcas Island, and checked into a small bed and breakfast on the opposite side of the island from their hotel. Saturday morning, I drove to the boutique inn where they were staying. I parked across the street and waited. They emerged around 10, holding hands, laughing, looking like a couple on a romantic getaway. Lisa was wearing a dress I'd never seen before, something elegant and expensive that she definitely hadn't packed for a work retreat. Marcus had his arm around her waist. They walked to a nearby cafe, sat outside, shared a pastry, kissed like they had all the time in the world. I took photos. Not because I wanted to, because I needed them. Evidence. Documentation. Proof that I wasn't imagining this, that I wasn't overreacting. That my wife of 8 years was having a full-blown affair with a man she worked with and lied to my face about it repeatedly. I didn't confront them. I got back in my car, took the ferry home, and waited for her to return Sunday night. She came home around 7, looking relaxed and happy. The retreat was amazing, she said. Really bonding experience with the team. I nodded. Glad you had fun. She showed me photos on her phone, group shots clearly pulled from old office events and passed off as new. I didn't call her out. I just smiled and said it looked great. That night, after she fell asleep, I printed the photos I'd taken on Orcas Island. I printed the voicemail transcriptions I'd saved. I printed the email confirmations, the message screenshots, everything. I put it all in a folder and left it on the kitchen table. Then I packed a bag and left. I didn't leave a note. I didn't explain. I just walked out of the apartment at 2 in the morning and drove to my brother's place across town. Lisa called me 16 times Sunday morning. I didn't answer. She texted. "Daniel, please. We need to talk. I can explain." "There's nothing to explain," I finally replied. "I know about Marcus. I know about Orcas Island. I know everything." My phone rang immediately. I declined the call. She showed up at my brother's apartment that afternoon. My brother refused to let her in. She stood outside and cried, begging me to come out, to listen, to give her a chance to explain. I stayed inside. There was nothing she could say that would change what I knew. I filed for divorce the following week. Lisa tried to fight it at first, claimed it was a mistake, that she'd end things with Marcus, that we could go to counseling and fix this. I refused. "You don't get to cheat for 3 months, lie to my face, and then ask for a second chance," I told her through my lawyer. The divorce took 4 months. No kids, no shared property beyond the apartment lease, which I let her keep. I moved into a smaller place near the school where I taught. I focused on my students, on my work, on rebuilding a life that felt honest. I heard through mutual friends that Lisa and Marcus stayed together for a while, but it fell apart within a year. Apparently, relationships built on secrecy and betrayal don't translate well into real life. Who would have thought? A year and a half after the divorce, I met someone new. Her name was Grace, a librarian at the public library near my school. We met when I brought my debate team in for research help. She was patient with the students, funny, grounded, real. We started talking, then dating, then building something that felt different from what I'd had with Lisa. It felt honest. Grace knew about Lisa from the beginning. I told her everything. The voicemails, the lies, the weekend on Orcas Island. She listened without judgment. "That sounds really painful," she said. It was, I admitted. "But it taught me what I won't accept anymore." She nodded. "Good. You deserve better than that." 2 years later, Grace and I got married. Small ceremony, close friends and family, no pretense. At the reception, someone joked about trust issues and second marriages. Grace squeezed my hand and smiled. "He doesn't have trust issues," she said. "He has standards." Lisa sent me a message a few months after I remarried. "I heard you got married. I'm happy for you. You deserve to be happy." I stared at the message for a while, then deleted it without responding. Not out of bitterness. I just didn't need that chapter anymore. Here's what I learned from all of this. Betrayal doesn't announce itself with grand gestures. It starts small. A password change. A new routine. A lie about working late. And if you ignore those signs because you want to trust, because you want to believe, because confronting the truth is terrifying, those small betrayals become big ones. Trust isn't about blind faith. It's about paying attention. Lisa didn't cheat because I worked too much or because our marriage was broken beyond repair. She cheated because she made a choice. Every text, every lie, every weekend getaway was a choice. And when someone chooses someone else over you repeatedly, no amount of love or history or second chances will make them choose you again. You can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. You can only choose yourself. I still have the folder with all the evidence. I've never looked at it again, but I keep it. Not as a reminder of what she did, but as a reminder of what I won't tolerate. I deserve someone who doesn't have a contact saved as just M, someone who doesn't lie about work retreats. Someone who chooses me, clearly and consistently, every single day. And now I have that. If you've ever found something you wish you hadn't, if you've ever ignored the warning signs because facing the truth was too painful, if you've ever had to walk away from someone you thought you'd spend your life with, this story is for you. Trust your gut. Pay attention to the small changes. And when the evidence is undeniable, have the courage to choose yourself. Because the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's building a life so good, they become irrelevant. Do you think I should have confronted her the night I found the voicemails, or was waiting and gathering evidence the right move? Let me know in the comments.